Our mission is providing food, shelter, and hope through Christian love. We have a community soup kitchen that provides about 100,000 meals each year. We are the only soup kitchen in our community. We also have a temporary emergency shelter for men experiencing homelessness so that they can get back on their feet. Project Cornerstone is a residential recovery program for men who are experiencing addiction. When I think about Samaritan's Vision, I think about all the areas that we impact. We impact homelessness, hunger, poverty, addiction, mental illness. We know that we can't solve all of those problems, but we can impact individual lives. We have a vision that our guests will not have to return to homelessness and that they won't have to continue to rely on emergency services.
And I'm James. I'm an alumni of Project Cornerstone. I've got 16 years, no drugs or alcohol. I spent 20 years out there homeless. The best part of the program for me was being involved in the softball team. I had never played any kind of sports before at all. And as a matter of fact, the first ball I hit, I stood there and clapped, and everybody was saying, "Hey, you need to run." You know, I can't actually talk like a NA or AA guru, but it was dangerous, and it was important for me to stay stopped. That was the main thing, to stay stopped. What I remember about the volunteers is that they loved me even when I didn't love myself, and that was important because they showed a lot of care and concern for me. If I was to talk to somebody out there on the street and to be able to convince them to come down here, I would tell them that this is a safe place. And that there's plenty of help down here for no matter what type of help they need. They just have to ask the right person. Counselors will help you will send you in the right direction.
I really think I would be dead if Samaritan didn't exist. You know, if this place didn't exist, I'd actually probably still be out there on the streets if I was lucky, because without God, I wouldn't have stood a chance fighting this.
I am a personal example of Samaritan's Mission. They provided me food, shelter, and hope through all the programs here, Project Cornerstone, seeing the volunteers, and also hope that I could leave the situation that I was in and become a better person. It is where I got my life back. Samaritan has gave me a career. Samaritan will always be a special place to me.
The mission is really providing for people physically and meeting very real needs that they have of food, of shelter, but also going beyond that and really honoring them as people and doing that by having conversation, by knowing people's names. Samaritan isn't just, handing out canned food, which is wonderful and needed, but you're really investing in people as complex, full people who are made in the image of God. And I think that's the mission of the whole organization summed up. The beginning part of the day is all prep. So we're getting the meal ready for everyone who walks in the doors. The middle part of the day from 11 to 1, we're open to the community. So people are coming in, we're serving them lunch, refilling beverages, just kind of talking about their days. And then at 1, when we close the kitchen, the team's cleaning up, mopping, sweeping, sort of getting everything set up for the next day. I think it's a priority to love people well, to care for people, caring for guests who are coming in the door, and also just caring for one another.
We appreciate what donors, volunteers, and other supporters do for Samaritan Ministries. Each donation is important to us and helps bring a warm meal, a friendly smile, and a safe place. Every single donation works together for good. Whether someone is bringing their time, talents, or their treasures, that all adds up to make a difference. For Samaritan, stewardship means that we are doing what we say we're going to do, and we are investing in the lives of our guests.
Because a lot of the guests in the community know this place and know that it's such a source of community and love, those relationships aren't just like on a day-to-day basis. They sort of continue and can grow. People care about each other deeply.
Welcome Welcome to Salmon Eggs 2023. We are excited to see all of you this morning and thank you for taking the time to join us as we celebrate this hope that is called Samaritan Ministries. I am Dexter Felder, an Executive Committee board member and a longtime supporter of this great ministry called Samaritan. At Samaritan, we begin all of our meetings with praise and prayer. Hear now from Matthew 25:31 through 41. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. Then shall the King say unto them on his right hand, Come ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. Then shall the righteousness answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee and hungered and fed thee, or thirsty and gave thee drink? Or when we saw thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? Or when we saw thee sick or in prison and came unto thee? And the King shall answer them and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as you have done it unto one of the least of these my children, ye have done it unto me. Let us pray. Dear God, our Father of the universe, maker and creator of all heaven and earth, we thank you for this blessed day and all the givings, all the blessings, all the thanksgiving that you have allowed us in our hearts. Now keep us always safe in your arms and never let us part from your finger of care and your eyes of mercy. Amen. Pardon me. This year we have had an overwhelming response from individuals and corporations who have sponsored this event. Their donations of over $80,000 have us well on the way to meeting our goal of raising over $200,000 this morning. This morning, okay. Please take time to review all of our sponsor names on your program. And at this time, we would like to pay special attention and recognition to those here today representing our benefactors and event sponsors and ask them to stand. Please hold your applause until all names have been called. Comerica Bank, Mark and Susan Dalton, First Horizon, Highland Presbyterian Church, Keith and Janet Huskins, Bill and Kim Means, David and Kathy Murray, Novant Health, the Robinson Private Client Group of Oppenheimer and the Company, Salem Investment Counselors, J.T. Stratford, the Tierney family, Wells Fargo, West and Stern Architects, Womble Bond Dickerson. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate your generosity and that of all of our sponsors and table captains. You are recognized by Samaritan, and what you give impacts the lives and changes our community for the better every day. We would also like to ask all of our staff and board members who are present to stand and be recognized. Staff and the board members. Our staff in particular delivers our mission of 365 days and sometimes 366 days a year and night. They experience the highs and the lows of working with our guests and see miracles and blessings each and every day. Our board is an unusually committed group as well. Many of you are here today because a board member invited you. We are passionate about the daily mission of Samaritan. But we're focused on a greater mission and a vision to make a difference in the lives of our guests long term. All of us have come here in our appointed positions because one moment in time changed our lives. An instance, a prayer, a look, a touch, a friend that has never, ever forsaken us. So keep in mind that friend. Call him or that friend whatever you might call him. But this I leave you. My friend is a king of all kings, and yet my friend stops beside me. My friend made the earth, moon, sun, and stars, and yet my friend walks beside me. My friend holds my hand just when all appears in vain, and makes it plain through joy and pain. He will remain my friend. Now Joe Ely will come before us.
Well, let me first say, for anyone who's heard me sing, I promise I will not sing during any part of my remarks. Thank you, Dexter, for that great introduction. I want to talk about our mission and vision at Samaritan. I think our mission and vision are evident in the video that you saw this morning. And though I will talk some more about that in a moment, they're summarized very well in the words of James, Marcus, Emma, and our executive director, Jan Kelly, who appear in the video. Remember what James, who is 16 years sober, said about Samaritan. It's a safe place, and volunteers loved me even when I didn't love myself. Marcus's words, I would be dead if Samaritan didn't exist. It is where I got my life back. By the way, you'll hear from Marcus again in a few moments, because he's now Samaritan's assistant director. Emma, a volunteer, reminds us all that we honor our guests as people, complex, full people, made in the image of God. And finally, Jan Kelly, we deal every day with homelessness, hunger, poverty, mental illness, and addiction. We can't solve them all, but we can alter individual lives. The stories of James and Marcus are great examples of what Samaritan strives for. For James, our soup kitchen provided daily meals and fellowship with other guests, volunteers, and staff. He showed up in the old building because he was hungry. And even though he completed Project Cornerstone over a decade ago, he still comes to Samaritan for good food and fellowship and to check in to see how we are doing. And every single time he leaves our building, he says, thank you, I love you. Each year, Samaritan provides over 100,000 meals to members of our community. And for most of them, it is the main meal or perhaps the only meal they will have that day. We're open every day of the year and often one of the most consistent things in the lives of our guests. In 42 years, we have never closed. In snow, ice, heat waves, or even a global pandemic. That's over 15,000 uninterrupted days of providing lunches and counting. Equally important, Samaritan provides shelter each year. more than 400 different men seek emergency overnight shelter at Samaritan Ministries. Our guests need a safe place emotionally, spiritually, and physically. For guests like Marcus, while we're providing emergency shelter, we try to understand where our guests are coming from so we can help create a roadmap for them out of homelessness. As Marcus said, so they can get their lives back. We frequently find that our guests have experienced some type of trauma in their lives, even if we don't know the extent. Violence, abuse, loss of family, living under a bridge, racism, extreme poverty, and unimaginable experiences are all part of what brings our guests to our door. We're also privileged to experience the resiliency of our guests. We listen, we connect, we celebrate. It's a celebration of success when a guest holds the key to his own apartment. It's a success when someone stays clean and sober for 24 hours. It's a success when a guest agrees to go to therapy or agrees to enter our residential substance use rehabilitation program, Project Cornerstone. Sometimes the biggest success is that a guest has a warm, dry place to stay for an evening. The stories from our guests are so important. Each story is unique, and we listen to find ways to keep someone moving forward so they don't remain stuck in the past. And very shortly, you'll hear another one of those stories that may touch your heart as to what Samaritan is really all about. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Marcus Houston, a graduate of our Project Cornerstone and Samaritan's Assistant Executive Director, who will introduce our special speaker for this morning.
Thank you, Joe. I'm always glad I don't have to follow Dexter, y'all. So I would like to start off by saying thank you. Thank you to Samaritan. Thank you to God for providing Samaritan. Thank you to Project Cornerstone. And thank you to you all for continuing to support our mission. I'm excited today to introduce our speaker, one of our Cornerstone brothers, Robert, who is on staff at Samaritan now. He's a full-time soup kitchen assistant, and he came to Samaritan in January of 2021. And like myself, he was sick and tired of being sick and tired. He wanted to make a positive change in his life, and he had heard that Project Cornerstone was the way to overcome his addiction to drugs and alcohol. The purpose of Project Cornerstone is to remove barriers to housing and employment. Men who join Cornerstone are highly motivated in their recovery and are committed to return to learning and working hard. They spend just over a year in the program and attend weekly group sessions, which cover topics such as addiction, relationships, communication skills, goal settings, and the importance of spirituality and recovery, and also financial management. They also connect with the AA and NA 12-step community and meet Project Cornerstone aftercare members who have become mentors, as well as Cornerstone provides the knowledge of recovery, structure, life skills, and role models. Our program is unique because we give lifelong support and opportunity for men who return to aftercare on Tuesday nights. Robert is one of the many Cornerstone success stories, and because he was ready to listen, learn, and act to work on his recovery, he created a new life for himself. I've been where he is, and it is not easy to share your personal stories and the details of the lowest points in your life. So to give Robert some support in telling his story, I'd like to welcome Lainey Pope, a friend of Samaritan and the chief meteorologist of WXII News 12. Lainey is no stranger to Samaritan and our mission. She has volunteered in our soup kitchen many times and is the honorary chair for our Penny campaign. So please help me and give a warm welcome to Lainey and Robert.
They even set up a little table for us, right? All right. Well, good morning. Thank you, Marcus, for that wonderful introduction. And I can't think of a better way to share the story of Samaritan than to have someone who has been through all the programs there and is now a part of Samaritan. Robert is here to share his story, and speaking into a microphone is not something he's used to doing, right?
No.
and especially talking about his journey and parts of this story that he's not real proud of. So if you have trouble hearing us, let us know. He can be a little soft-spoken, but we're gonna share his story. So first, Robert, tell me a little bit about your childhood. Let's start in the beginning.
Well, it was 6 of us, and one thing though that my mother expressed to us and emphasized to us was education. Education is the way of life, and that she gave us our own ways. She gave us our own choices in life. She gave us that you can choose to do whatever you want to do.
And did you make good choices?
No, I didn't.
Tell me about that.
I choose to be with the guys, to hang out, to be with the in crowd, as they say. But that was some of the wrong decisions that I made in life. It ended me going to jail, and just doing so many undescribable things.
Yeah, what sort of things did you do? And this was in your teenage years, right? You were 15 or 16.
Started using, started abusing, and it was just ended up in jail. Those things that ended me up in jail.
How many times do you think you were in jail?
I went to jail, don't have me tell that number. But let's just say about 6 or 7 times.
Yeah. And every time you got out, it was back to the same pattern.
Yes, that would be the only time that I would stay clean was while I was in jail,
And something happened in jail that really affected you.
Yeah, the last time that I was in jail, I lost my mom, and it was just a life-turning experience for me. Just changed my life. That's when I hit rock bottom.
And how did it change your life? What did it make you think about?
I know I didn't have anyone else to have my back, because my mother, she had my back at all times. But once I lost her, I just simply gave up.
And it was your family that helped you eventually, right?
Yes. I do have a sister and a brother-in-law that lives down here, and they told me to come down here and get into the program called Cornerstone Recovery, and I was like, recovery? No, But I'm glad I made that decision, that I came down here to the Samaritan and to Cornerstone, and it changed my life.
Tell me about your mind and your body when you walked into Cornerstone.
My mind was all over the place. I actually came in on a cane, came in walking. My body was beat down. Mind was everywhere, didn't know which way to go.
But there was a gentleman there named Donnie Scott.
Oh, my
Gave
God.
you some tough love, didn't he?
Yes. Yes, Mr. Scott. Oh, boy. Hope he's not here. He's just one of those guys. He just push you. He says things that'll make you just think. He just keep your mind going, wondering, Him and my counselor, Mr. Kuntz, and Mr. Obie Johnson, they just asked me a question like, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? And that was just a tough question.
And you didn't have the answer.
I didn't have the answer, no.
Right. And one of the things that your mom had told you helped.
Yes, my mom always told me that. It's never too late. You're never too old to stop learning. Just listen. Just have an open mind.
So you were able to finish the Cornerstone program and start a new life.
Yes, luckily I finished Cornerstone. And through Cornerstone, they sent me to culinary school, and that happened to be the best move in my life.
So you went to Providence Culinary Training, and you
Yes.
learned what?
I learned how to cook. Well, you know, I already learned. You know how you know how to cook already.
No,
A
not
little
everybody
bit.
knows how to cook.
A little bit. A little bit. But culinary taught me, you know, how to put things together, you know, and how to prepare your meals and all.
What's your specialty?
My specialty is breakfast.
All right.
Yes, I
love
love to cook breakfast.
So you were able to have that skill, and that actually landed you a job, didn't it?
Yes, just so happens. Thanks to Miss Sherry, wherever you are. Thank you. She helped me get employed at the Samaritan, and all I can say is look now.
And one other thing, because it takes the whole community. So Providence helped you. Also, Experiment and Self-Reliance helped you. How?
Yes. Oh my God, ESR. My case manager's name is Miss Jan Carlton. She has done so much for me.
I know.
She helped me so much. You know, they helped me just start putting my life back together. You know, they helped me pay my rent, you know, for the first year. And that helped me a great lot. That gave me time to save money. So once they stopped helping me, I could pay my own rent.
What does that feel like?
Oh my God. And Cornerstone helped me learn how to save money. You know, so.
And you now have your own apartment.
I have my own apartment and I have my own car.
Yeah,
You
right.
know.
And tell me about when you go home at night.
Wow, when I go home at night, the first thing that I do is I just smile when I drive up to my own place, and I put my key in the door. But one thing I do, open the door and I look around, make sure no one has been there. And once I open up the door and go in and I lock it, and I go to my chair,
Oh yeah.
you know, and I just sit there and I just take a sigh of relief. This is mine, you know, and it's just a feeling that I can't describe.
And you talk about choices. You had the big choice of, do I choose the addicted life or the sober life? And every day when you're in the soup kitchen, you see that other side, right?
Yes, I see the men and women that come in there and eat, and I just look at them and I just say, wow, that could have been me, you know. But I try to give them encouragement. I say, you know, if I could do it, you can do it. You know, you're never too old.
Right. And basically you're telling them the same thing your mom told you, right?
Yes, you're just never too old to start over.
What do you think she'd think right now?
Oh, I know she's down. She's up there smiling down at me saying, you go. Yes.
Where do you think you'd be without Samaritan?
Oh, wow. Right now, probably be dead or somewhere in jail.
It's tough to think about.
Yes. Try not to think about it, but I know without the Samaritan and Cornerstone, I would be dead or in jail. So I just want to say thank you, Samaritan and Cornerstone, for everything.
Thank you, Robert, for sharing your story.
You're welcome.
Wow, that's quite a story. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Lainey, for helping Robert tell his story. Robert, we are so proud of your hard work, and we are really honored to continue supporting you in your recovery and in your career. I remember when Robert was first in Project Cornerstone, I asked him to be part of a Zoom call with donors. He told me later that he really didn't know what to say, But he wanted everyone to just know he was happy to wake up every morning clean and sober, that's all he could cling to at the time. So many of our guests tell us that they are just hanging on, but Samaritan gives them something to hang on to. I meet with Robert weekly along with the rest of our Soup Kitchen team, and we have a community meeting to start our time together. We talk about how we're feeling, what our goals are, and who can support us. Robert almost always says that he feels blessed. He feels blessed. Sometimes I challenge him a little bit to come up with another word. And he says, no, I feel blessed. I woke up this morning, I come to a job that I love, and I get to see other people meeting their goals. I want to be the best that I can be. Today, you can help Samaritan be the best that we can be. I invite you to pull out the pledge card that you received this morning when you came in. You'll note that there are many options for giving. Write a check, give online. There's even a QR code on the back of your program. Donor advised fund, stock gift. We are flexible. Let us know how you want to give. If you don't see the option you want, write us a note. We'll figure it out. You might even think about making a monthly commitment. If you give $100 a month, that equates to $1,200 a year, which means about 300 meals in our soup kitchen. As you consider your gift to Samaritan, I want you to know how important your support is to our guests. Take a few quiet moments this morning and think about the people who have supported you through difficult times in your life. It could be a mother, father, a grandparent, a sister, brother, coach, counselor, pastor. My guess is that most of us could come up with a laundry list of people who support us. But for our guests, Samaritan is that support network. We fill in where others have faded away. Your gift allows us to be a consistent presence in our soup kitchen where guests come who don't know where their next meal is coming from. And you help us be a consistent present at night for our guests who don't know where else to turn. We show up every day and night of the year to provide these very basic needs of food and shelter. And that is what we are called to do in Matthew 25:35. But we are so much more than just a soup kitchen and a shelter. As Emma said in the video, we are a caring community with love for others. We have a vision for our guests not to return to the shelter or to have to continue to rely on the soup kitchen. With that vision in mind, we're beginning year 3 of a strategic plan. With that plan, we are investing in our staff, their training and development. We're focusing on nutrition in the soup kitchen to affect the health of our guests. And we're planning new connections to behavioral health services. In short, we are building an even greater support network for our guests. As you consider those supports and those supportive people in your life, I hope you feel gratitude and blessings. Samaritan feels blessed today. We're blessed that volunteers show love in action every day. As James in the video has said many times, volunteers, and there are many of you in this room today, volunteers are a friendly face in an unfamiliar place. We are blessed to work with many community partners to make life better for our guests. Over this last year, we saw community agencies come together to help just one of our guests. Community paramedics, United Way, Adult Protective Services, Daymark, Novant Health, Green Nest, Crisis Control, the Mental Health Association, United Health Centers, and many more to help one guest. We do not operate Samaritan in a silo, and we rely on our partners to make things happen. But today we are blessed by all of you, our Samaritan family, who have gathered here today. You help create the opportunity for us to fulfill our mission of providing food, shelter, and hope through Christian love. Each day and night, we meet new guests who begin to trust Samaritan. We listen, we love, we encourage so that our guests can meet their goals. We want all of them, just like Robert, to be the best they can be. The next Robert may be at our doors tonight, and we want to be a restorative force to move them forward in a positive way. As you complete your pledge cards this morning, you may place them in the large envelope on the table, and table captains can turn those in at the end. And also, please select someone at your table to take the mum to someone who needs a blessing today. Tell them what you've learned today and about Samaritan. If you have heard something this morning that's really piqued your interest, I invite you to continue the conversation. Several of our staff members, board members, and Robert will be stationed to my right down towards the elevators. If you want to learn more about volunteering or about Project Cornerstone or about Samaritan in general, stick around, have a cup of coffee with us. It'll be very informal and short. I want to thank Robin Stone, our new development director, for leading that discussion after we finish today. I thank you for your presence today. I thank you for your generosity. I thank you for the many ways that you show love in action to our guests. And I thank you for your continued prayers for Samaritan Ministries. I now call on Brenda Kearney, Samaritan board member and pastoral director at St. Peter's Church and World Outreach Center, for our closing prayer.
Let us bow our heads, please. Thankfulness is the beginning of gratitude. Gratitude is the completion of thankfulness. Thankfulness may consist merely of words. Gratitude is shown in acts. Arthur Henry Amir. We are grateful for our sponsors, volunteers, friends, staff, and board members of Samaritan Ministries. Thank you for having the heart of God, sacrificial love for humanity. Your heart is a heart that pumps life, not only into you, but is a giving heart to provide and sustain a better life for others. We are thankful for the delicious breakfast, and we must be mindful that each time we eat, because of our generosity, over 100,000 meals were provided to our community. Thank you, sponsors, for putting God's love into action, giving others hope and help for a brighter future. For our special guests of Samaritan Ministries, by supporting our mission, providing food, shelter, and hope through Christian love. Thank you for coming today. Thank you for giving. Thank you for supporting. Because of you, a life has been changed, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Thank you. You are the epitome of gratitude, love in actions. Amen.